All right, guys, so another video here. Thanks for stopping by. We are just going to quickly talk. There's not going to be really any shooting, but it's going to be obviously how the title of the video says, how to acquire your sights faster. All right, so this draw, it can be from inside the waistband if you're carrying concealed, or it can be from outside the waistband. It's pretty much the same, right? This is outside the waistband, but when I come up, one of the things that I've seen, especially women who are big chested and maybe some guys that have big guts and so on, they'll bring their support hand all the way up to their chest, like all the way up to here. So they go from their hands being here to one hand on their gun and one hand all the way up here when it's, again, outside the waistband. So they'll come up and their hands are all the way up to here, almost to their throats, and then they bring the gun here, and then they have to come down with their support hand and mirror, you know, their grip, get a good grip, and then they come out. I feel like that's a little bit of a wasted movement, right? So instead, you can just come up to about mid-center, to about your solar plexus right here, just underneath the chest, because about here is where my gun is going to be every time that I draw. And then my hand's already right there. I don't have to take time from going from here down to here, where maybe as I'm coming here, my gun is right in front, and now I'm hitting the gun, or I have to come around. That's just extra movement. That is extra time that you have to spend. It might only save you 1/10 of a second, but if you can find 9 more of those, then it equals an entire second. And in 1 second, it can make a big difference. So you come up, right? And from right here, you start coming up here to get your sights in front of your eyes, and then you drive out, okay? And I would do the same thing if I had my CCW or my concealed carry appendix. My gun would be here. I come up, draw, and then present out. It's the same kind of motion. After I draw from the holster, it comes up here, and I come up and then out. So it's up and then out. By doing this, it gives me time to really refine my sights as I'm pressing out, because the sights are already basically leveled to me, versus bringing the gun up to like this, and then my sights only come in line basically right here. But then I might overdo it and I have to come back and let my sights settle, versus coming up and out. Also, this is going to be the same type of draw that you're going to want to do if, say, you have your concealed carry, you're doing appendix, you're inside your car, you have your steering wheel right here, okay? You're not going to be able to do this. You're going to have to come up over the steering wheel and then punch out. So it's the same draw stroke for me, whether I'm out in a range like this or I'm in a car. Same thing if you're at a restaurant and, again, you're carrying appendix, the table doesn't move for whatever reason. You can't just move the table off and throw your seat back as you're standing up. You're going to have to come up over the table and then press out. So this draw, it's the same thing, no matter what. No matter whether it's outside the waistband, like this, no matter if it's inside the waistband, doesn't matter if I have a steering wheel right here or if I have a table right here, I come out and I clear it all. Now the other thing is, your finger should be off of the trigger, right? So if you were to, wherever you are right now, if you're indoors, look for a light switch. It's maybe like 10 feet away. Look at it, look away, close your eyes, and then point at it. Without moving your hand or your finger, look and see how close you are to pointing at that light switch. You're probably right on it. So we are naturally good at pointing at things. So keep that in the back of your mind. When you're drawing your gun, whether it be outside or inside the waistband, when you're drawing your gun, your index finger is very close to the barrel. Okay, my barrel is right here. My trigger finger is just underneath it. Now that's on this Glock 19. On a Sig 229, 226, 320, it might be just a little bit under. You know, the barrel might be a little bit higher than here. If you're shooting maybe an alien, whatever that is, your trigger finger might be more in line with the barrel. But just keep that in the back of your mind, like, hey, I can just point with my finger and my sights should be relatively close to what I'm aiming at. Now, obviously, depending on the situation, depending on the distance to the target, you might have to refine your sights a little bit more. But, you know, picking up your sights, bringing the gun up and doing that, that's going to help. And then pairing it up with the fact that your trigger finger, okay, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, your trigger finger is just underneath your barrel, guys. So just get used to pointing with your trigger finger before you insert it into the trigger guard, onto the trigger, and you break your shot. Okay, so your hands are always going to be here, and you only place your trigger finger on the trigger when you're actually ready to shoot. So between the gun coming here, or the gun coming from in here, or the gun being right here, when I'm looking at the target and I see where I want to shoot, I can point with my finger, and now I'm very, very close to it. It's really that simple, okay? Another thing that you can also do is, if you look at the back of your gun, this part right here is right in line with the middle of your barrel. So depending on your target size, depending on the target length, if your red dot stops working, or if your iron sights somehow come off or are really loose, not just can you rely on your trigger finger pointing at the target, but you can also you can also place this over the target, and you're gonna get some pretty good shots. And you should be practicing that as well. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it useful. Try it out at the range. Let me know what you thought in the comments. As always, I appreciate you stopping by and watching the video. Please consider subscribing. Thanks.